Hello, my name is Tracee Glab, and I'm the Curator of Collections and Exhibitions at the Flint Institute of Arts. In this video, I would like you to join me in the Johnson Gallery, where we feature American and European art of the 19th century. Currently on view is a landscape that I'd like to tell you more about. This landscape, dated circa 1885, was painted by a fascinating figure in the history of art, Edward Mitchell Bannister. Bannister, seen on the right, was born in 1828 in St. Andrews in New Brunswick, Canada. Sadly, his father died when he was only 6 years old, and his mother died about 10 years later. He eventually settled in the United States in the 1850s. He settled in Boston, Massachusetts, where he was really intent on studying the arts, which he received as a real love from his mother at a young age. And he decided to take classes in the evening at the Lowell Institute, studying under William Rimmer. But to finance his lessons, he took up work as a barber. And this was a very fortuitous decision on Bannister's part, because it was at a hair salon of Madame Christiana Carteau that he met his future wife, Madame Christiana, and they married in 1857. Historically significant in her own right, and you see a portrait of her by Bannister on the screen. She was born to African American and Native American parents and was an entrepreneur and self-proclaimed hair doctoress. She ran successful salons in Boston and later Providence, which really allowed and financed her husband's art career. According to Bannister, quote, I would have made out very poorly had it not been for her. And my greatest successes have come through her, either through the criticisms of my pictures or the advice she would give in the matter of placing them in the public, end quote. He received his first portrait commission in 1852. Dr. John V. DeGrasse, a noted abolitionist and Boston's first African-American physician. The location of the painted portrait is not known. So what you see on the screen is a photograph. By 1858, so about 6 years later, Bannister listed his profession as an artist. Sadly, the majority of the works of the 1850s and 1860s remains unaccounted for. We know he created portraits and landscapes and religious scenes, but we just don't know where they are currently. During this period, he participated in the Boston Underground Railroad and also other anti-slavery organizations, from fundraising to advocacy. And the Bannister hair salons even were meeting places for abolitionists. In 1869, Bannister and his wife moved to Providence, Rhode Island, where he would spend the rest of his life. At the time, the city was home to a small community of artists, so it was really a great place for him to thrive as an artist. He became the founding board member of the Rhode Island School of Design, and in 1880, co-founder of the Providence Art Club. A silhouette of his profile is visible behind the front door of the clubhouse to this day, which you see on the left. Well, the silhouette is on the right, and the image of the clubhouse is on the left. During the Providence period, one of his paintings, now lost, titled Under the Oaks, won a medal at the Philadelphia Centennial Exposition in 1876. Sadly, when he arrived at the exposition to claim his prize, he was refused entry by a man because of his skin color. Bannister later wrote, quote, in an instant, my blood was up. The looks in the room were unmistakable. I was not an artist to them, simply an inquisitive colored man. Controlling myself, I said, deliberately, I painted the picture. An explosion could not have made a more marked impression. Without hesitation, the man apologized, and soon everyone in the room was bowing and scraping to me, end quote. It was also during the Providence period that Bannister created the work now in the FIA collection. You can see the house that the Bannister family lived in on the left from 1884 to 1889 or 1899, about the time, it spans the period of when our painting was created. On the right. And most scholars agree that it was during this decade that Bannister's style really became fully matured. Another notable achievement in the 1880s was the publication of The Artist and His Critics in 1886, which he also delivered as a speech to fellow members of the Providence Art Club. In this address, he said that spiritual expression is the artist's ultimate goal. And that same year, he painted Approaching Storm, which you see on the screen, which is now in the Smithsonian American Art Museum. In the last decade of his life, he painted Hay Gatherers, circa 1893, which depicts two African-American women in a field of tall grasses exploring the African-American struggle during the Reconstruction era. Bannister died at a prayer meeting in 1901, but within 5 months of his death, the Providence Art Club coordinated a memorial exhibition exhibiting 101 works. In that same year, artists gathered to erect an 8-foot tall boulder, complete with a bronze palette grave marker with the following inscription: "Friends of this pure and lofty soul, freed from the form which lies beneath the sod, have placed the stone to mark the grave of him who, while he portrayed nature, walked with God." I sincerely hope that now that you've learned a little bit about this artist, that you're inspired to come and see the painting for yourself. We hope to see you very soon. Thank you.